Joe Tinker, who was manager of the Orlando team here for several years. Of the Tinker to Evers to Chance fame, double play fame in the poem. The place where we saw the Orlando Rays minor league team win the Southern League Championship back in 1999. And that was shortly before they closed down the field in the park and eventually demolished it. And it was once right here, Tinker Field, right next to the Citrus Bowl, now known as Camping World Stadium. There's a lot of history to this field. It was built in 1923. Several minor league teams played here. A lot of famous Hall of Famers came through here on their way up the minor leagues, and some played here as their major league teams as well. They have lined up along here the names of different positions where famous players were here. Names of all the managers who ever managed here. Original chairs from the field. The year 1999 when it was closed. This one's showing the year 1923 when the field was first opened for play. But you know, we've got some well-known names here. First baseman that played here: Stan Musial, Hank Greenberg, Lou Gehrig. Martin Luther King Jr. once spoke here. Hank Aaron played here, Roberto Clemente, Babe Ruth, Enos Slaughter, Mel Ott, Reggie Jackson. I used to come here, went to a lot of games here, really miss it. But they went and got rid of it like they did. But Orlando no longer has a minor league team now, so I guess they found there's really no use for it. And it was a fairly old field as well. I remember the structure itself being pretty old. Center fielders here: Earl Averill, Larry Doby, Mickey Mantle, Kirby Puckett, Hack Wilson, Tris Speaker. Shortstops: Luke Appling, Lou Boudreau, Joe Cronin, Barry Larkin, Joe Tinker, Honus Wagner, Phil Rizzuto, Cal Ripken Jr., Pee Wee Reese. Clark Griffith, in honor of him, bringing the Washington Senators to Tinker Field in Orlando for spring training. The stadium in Washington for years was named Griffith Stadium, where the Senators played. We have Ted Williams, Carl Yastrzemski, left fielders that played here. Roth Kiner, Lou Brock, Tim Raines. I met Tim Raines twice, of Sanford fame. Third baseman that were here: Wade Boggs. The history itself follows here. Joe Tinker with the original stadium. They had a Babe Ruth Day here. Clark Griffith and the Washington Senators came here February 24th, 1936. There was a Negro Leagues game here in 1939. First black player to play in an integrated game at Tinker Field. Monty Irvin signed with the Giants. Jackie Robinson played here. Roberto Clemente. Just a lot lot of history here, and they made sure they recorded it as well. Martin Luther King was here in '64 to speak. Harmon Killebrew, he played here very much, and I met him once shortly before he died. Died of cancer a few years back. Minnesota Twins stopped spring training here in 1990. This was the location where Tinker Field was, now part of parking for Camping World Stadium. I hadn't been back here since the place had been torn down. When I had, I didn't come through here. It's nice to see that they did all this for it, to remember the place. I'm very glad at least it's Tinker Field Park now, even though they couldn't keep the Tinker Field stadium structure. It's a nice memory. Orlando, Florida, Tinker Field, named for Joe Tinker. The surprising thing is, Joe Tinker played for the Chicago Cubs. And we went into Wrigley Field on a tour once, and on the wallpaper going up to one of the sections in there was a picture of him with his name underneath. It said Joe Tinker. I was just shocked to see it right there immediately on the wall when I'm there at Wrigley Field. But that was him. He's buried here in Orlando at Greenwood Cemetery now. He made Orlando his home.